नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयन्तीर्यः। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भक्तसेवया भगवति उत्तमं श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, today we are starting new chapter, chapter 18, the prayers offered to the Lord by the residents of Jambudvip. Text number 1 onwards. Translation. Sri Shukdev Goswami said, Bhadrashrava, the son of Dharmraj, rules the tract of land known as Bhadrashva Varsha. Just as Lord Shiva worships Sankarshan in elaborate Varsha, Bhadrashrava, accompanied by his intimate servants and all the residents of the land, worships the plenary expansion of Vasudev known as Hai Shirsha. Lord Hai Shirsha is very dear to the devotees, and he is the director of all religious principles. Fixed in the topmost trance, Bhadrashrava and his associates offer their respectful obeisances to the Lord and chant the following prayers with careful pronunciation. Text 2. Bhadrashravas uchuhu Om Namo Bhagavate Dharmayatma Vishodhanaya Nam Iti. The ruler Bhadrashrava and his intimate associates utter the following prayer. We offer our respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the reservoir of all religious principles, who cleanses the heart of the conditioned soul in this material world. Again and again we offer our respectful obeisances unto him. Foolish materialistic persons do not know how they are being controlled and punished at every step by the laws of nature. They think they are very happy in the conditioned state of material life, not knowing the purpose of repeated birth, death, old age, and disease. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita 7:15, Lord Krishna describes such materialistic persons as mulas, rascals. These mulas do not know that if they want to purify themselves, they must worship Lord Vasudeva, Krishna, by performing penances and austerities. This purification is the aim of human life. This life is not meant for blind indulgence in sense gratification. In the human form, the living being must engage himself in Krishna consciousness to purify his existence. Tapo divyam paturka yena sattvam. This is the instruction of King Rishabdev to his sons. In the human form of life, one must undergo all kinds of austerities to purify his existence. We are all seeking happiness, but because of our ignorance and foolishness, we cannot know what unobstructed happiness really is. Unobstructed happiness is called Brahma Sokhya, spiritual happiness. Although we may get some so-called happiness in this material world, that happiness is temporary. The foolish materialists cannot understand this. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj points out, Maya Sukhaya Brahm Udvato Vimudhan. Merely for temporary materialistic happiness, these rascals are making huge arrangements, and thus they are baffled life after life. So very heavy purport by Prabhupada that these, if we are not taking shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna, we are mudas. Mudas means rascals, fools, who don't know what's the goal of life. And everywhere else, everybody, they know. Look at Lord Shiva, we saw his prayers yesterday, how beautifully he prayed to the Lord, and how he's saying, we the conditioned souls, we can only take shelter of your lotus feet, and then we can be saved from your illusory energy. Now, Bhadrashravas are also saying the same. They are the rulers of huge, huge places. And they are praying to the God, praying to Krishna. You are the one who cleanses the heart of the conditioned soul in this material world. And again, we offer our respectful obeisances unto you. So pretty much everybody, all the demigods know their position. They know the position of Krishna. They know how to attain him. Only on planet Earth, we just don't know. And we think we are somebody very great. We are nothing. In the whole universe, we are nothing. It's just like in our house, we find some ant hill, small ant hill, and there are hundreds of ants are living there, thousands of ants. They're living there, fighting, and they're trying to collect some eatables and this and that. And that's it. How significant is that ant hill for us? Nothing. So similarly, we are like that. In fact, that is still pretty big when we compare ourselves with Krishna or even with demigods. We are nothing in front of them. And how they are praying to the Supreme Lord. And their prayer is definitely not for any material benedictions. Because they have pretty much everything that we can't even think of. All they want is to take shelter of Krishna. Aho vichitram bhagavad vicheshtitam ghunantam janoyam hi mishanna pashyati dhyayanna sadyarahi vikarma sevitum nirhritya utram pitram jijivishati. Alas, how wonderful is that the foolish materialist does not heed the great danger of impending death. He knows that death will surely come, yet he is nevertheless callous and neglectful. If his father dies, he wants to enjoy his father's property. And if his son dies, he wants to enjoy his son's possessions as well. In either case, he heedlessly tries to enjoy material happiness with the acquired money. Material happiness means to have good facilities for eating, sleeping, sexual intercourse, and defense. Within this world, the materialistic person lives only for these four principles of sense gratification, not caring for the impending danger of death. After his father's death, a son tries to inherit his money and use it for sense gratification. Similarly, one whose son dies tries to enjoy the possessions of his son. Sometimes a father of dead son even enjoys his son's widow. That also happens. Materialistic persons behave in this way. Thus, Shukdev Goswami says, how wonderful are these pastimes of material happiness transacted by the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In other words, materialistic persons want to commit all kinds of sinful activities, but without the sanction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, no one can do anything. Why does the Supreme Personality of Godhead permit sinful activities? The Supreme Lord does not want any living being to act sinfully. He begs him through his good conscience to refrain from sin. But when someone insists upon acting sinfully, the Supreme Lord gives him the sanction to act at his own risk. Matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. No one can do anything without the sanction of the Lord. But he is so kind that when the conditioned soul persists in doing something, the Lord permits the individual soul to act at his own risk. So when somebody wants to act sinfully, materialistic people are only acting sinfully, nothing else. Supreme Lord, he gives them the good conscience, but then he just lets them act and then suffer or enjoy the karmas, reactions of those karmas. Ultimately, it's all suffering. There's no enjoyment. But it's our karmas, the reactions that we have to face. There's no running away. But still we act sinfully. Still materialistic people act sinfully. All they want is money, money, money. Somehow they want money so that they can enjoy the senses. By hook or by crook, how we get the money doesn't matter. I just want money. And when the money comes, it brings all the other intentions to sinfully enjoy my senses. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, sons always outlive their fathers in other planetary systems and other lands in this universe, especially on Svargaloka. However, on this earth, a son often dies before his father, and the materialistic father is pleased to enjoy the possessions of his son. Neither the father nor the son can see the reality that both of them are awaiting death. When death comes, however, all their plans for material enjoyment are finished. But the desire doesn't go away. So the plans are made again in the next life, in the next life, in the next life, in the next life. And this is all. This just cycle of birth, death, old age, disease goes on and on and on and on. Text 4. Vadanti vishvam kavayasma nashvaram pashyanti cha adhyatma vido vipashchita tathapi muyanti tavajam mayaya suvismitam krityam ajam natvasmitam. O unbound one, learned Vedic scholars who are advanced in spiritual knowledge certainly know that this material world is perishable, as do other logicians and philosophers. In trance, they realize the factual position of this world, and they preach the truth as well. Yet, even they are sometimes bewildered by your illusory energy. This is your wonderful pastime. Therefore, I can understand that your illusory energy is very wonderful, and I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Not only does the illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead act on the conditioned soul within this material world, but sometimes it also acts on the most advanced learned scholars who factually know the constitutional position of this material world through realization. As soon as someone thinks, I am this material body, aham mameti, and everything in relationship with this material body is mine, he is in illusion. This illusion caused by the material energy acts especially on the conditioned souls, but it sometimes also acts on liberated souls as well. A liberated soul is a person who has sufficient knowledge of this material world and is therefore unattached to the bodily conception of life. But because of the association with the modes of material nature, for a very long time, even liberated souls sometimes become captivated by the illusory energy due to inattentiveness in the transcendental position. Therefore, Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mame Vye Prapadyante. Only those who surrender unto me can overcome the influence of the material energy. Therefore, no one should think of himself as a liberated person, immune to the influence of Maya. Everyone should very cautiously execute devotional service by rigidly following regulative principles. Thus, he will remain fixed at the lotus feet of the Lord. Otherwise, a little inattention will create havoc. We have already seen an example of this in the case of Maharaj Bharat. Maharaj Bharat was undoubtedly a great devotee, but because he turned his attention slightly toward a small deer, He had to suffer two more births, one as a deer and another as a Brahman Jad Bharat. Afterward, he was liberated and went back home, back to Godhead. So slight inattention and Maya can really take over. And in fact, those who are really working on their way back home, back to Godhead, to take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, Maya acts strongly on them, more strongly on them, because others are already captured by the illusory energy of the Lord. Maya doesn't have to work very hard on them. Why Maya acts very strong on these people who are making progress or trying to make progress? Because she wants to make sure that these liberated or on the path to liberation, those souls, they are eligible. They're perfectly eligible. And also, because this material world, it's basically under the jurisdiction of Maya. It's Maya Jagat. Everything is ultimately under Krishna's control, but Krishna has given Maya Devi control of this material world. So what she does now, if there is a war between two armies, so if from one side they keep on killing the ordinary soldiers of the other side doesn't get bewildered. But if they kill or capture the commander, then the other side loses right away. Even if the 99% of the soldiers are okay. So this is what Maya does. She wants to capture the commanders. And that's why the leaders, the commanders, the advanced people, they have to be very, very careful. Of course, they have to be careful also to set an example for the others to follow. And and when they are careful, means they are taking every moment of the day, every moment of their spiritual life, they're taking shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. They're praying to the Lord, please keep me under your shelter. Please keep me in your service. This is what Hare Krishna Mantra means. We are praying to the Lord, please, Radharani, please, Krishna, please keep me in your service. Don't let me go again to serve Maya. And only a grateful, only a humble heart can pray like this. If we think I have crossed over Maya, then this is our biggest foolishness. We can never. It's very difficult. Devi hi esha gunamami mam Maya duratyaya. And how Maya enters? She enters or she attacks the very quality or the place where we think we are more strong. Or because where we are more strong, we will be more attached to it. Suppose, like Bharat Maharaj, he thought he was very strong in renunciation. He was in the forest all alone by himself and he was meditating on the Supreme Lord whole day, every day. He was doing all his devotion services. So Maya did not attack him like on other aspects of devotional service. She attacked him on where he thought he was very renounced. She made him attached to a deer. On one hand, we can think that this was all planned by Krishna, but Krishna acts through Maya in this material world. He can act through his Yogmaya, and Yogmaya can act through Mahamaya, or he can act directly through Mahamaya. Whatever Krishna wants to do, he can do. But definitely the tests will be there. And more tests, more strong the test will be where we are more attached to our devotion service. So sometimes we become more proud of it. And then Krishna wants to test right there. So association of devotees, very, very important. And at the same time, remaining in a humble position so that we bow down to Krishna and take shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. That's the only way to do it. But at the same time, for devotees who have made advancement, so once they get attacked by Maya, once they get captured by Maya, once they get humbled by Maya's attack, then they understand. Then they realize where they made the mistake, just like Bharat Maharaj realized. And he said, okay, no more getting attached to anything. So this is also a wake-up call. Sometimes it's a wake-up call, or sometimes it's a call to set an example for others, whatever Krishna does. So if it's a wake-up call, so the devotee gets more attentive. Then he becomes very attentive on that aspect. But making sure, keep an eye on other aspects of bhakti, where I think or where we think we are getting proud of. Because that is where the attack is going to come, definitely going to come. So we just have to be very, very, very careful. So that is why association of devotees is very, very important, especially the devotees who are our really, really well-wishers, and they can see where this Prabhuji or this Mataji is making mistakes. So let me humbly correct them as a well-wisher. So that the point is we all together can make progress very, very nicely and together. That togetherness has to be there. So Prabhupada further says, the Lord is always prepared to excuse his devotee. But if a devotee takes advantage of the Lord's leniency and purposefully commits mistakes, again and again, the Lord will certainly punish him by letting him fall down into the clutches of the illusory energy. In other words, theoretical knowledge acquired by studying the Vedas is insufficient to protect one from the clutches of Maya. One must strongly adhere to the lotus feet of the Lord in devotional service. Then one's position is secure. So strongly adhere to the lotus feet of the Lord. That's not just gonna happen just like that. We have to put in our greatest effort. And that we will put in our effort once we understand our precarious position, how dangerously we are dangling in this blind well of the material world. We are just there and holding on to a very thin creeper. We have to make this creeper as really Bhakti Lata, so strong creeper, so we don't just fall in the blind well. So this Bhakti Lata, we have to make it very, very strong. Vishvodha bhavasthana nirodha karmate hiya kartum karturangi angi kritam apyaya api pavrita yuktam na chitram tvai kare karane sarvat mani namaste cha vastutaha. O Lord, although you are completely detached from the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of this material world, and are not directly affected by these activities, they're all attributed to you. We do not wonder at this, for your inconceivable energies perfectly qualify you to be the cause of all causes. You're the active principle in everything, although you're separate from everything. Thus, we can realize that everything is happening because of your inconceivable energy. So Krishna is behind everything, creation, maintenance, annihilation. Although you are detached, but everything is attributed to you because through your inconceivable energies, you are taking care of everything. Vedan yugante tamsa tiriskritan rasataladyo nriturang vigraha pratyadade ve kavya abhiyachate tasmai namaste avithe hitai iti. At the end of the millennium, ignorance personified assumed the form of a demon, stole all the Vedas and took them down to the planet of Rasatal. The Supreme Lord, however, in his form of Hayagriva, retrieved the Vedas and returned them to Lord Brahma when he begged for them. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord, whose determination never fails. Although Vedic knowledge is imperishable, within this material world it is sometimes manifest and sometimes not. When the people of this material world becomes too absorbed in ignorance, the Vedic knowledge disappears. Lord Hayagriva or Lord Matsya, however, always protects the Vedic knowledge, and in due course of time it is again distributed through the medium of Lord Brahma. Brahma is a trustworthy representative of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, when he again asked for the treasure of Vedic knowledge, the Lord fulfilled his desire. So this is another pastime of Lord Hayagriva. So Lord Hayagriva at that time, this demon, if I'm not wrong, Madhu and Katab, these were the demons who took the Vedic knowledge, and they were also in the form of a horse. And they took it down to the planet of Rasatal and hid it over there. And without Vedas, nothing can work. And Brahmaji was bewildered. Now, how am I going to create the universe and take care of everything? Because Vedas means the knowledge. And without Vedas, nothing can happen, nothing can work. So the Lord appeared as Hayagriva, as a horse. And he killed those demons and brought back the knowledge. And Prabhupada, very nicely he says, when the people of this material world become too absorbed in ignorance, the Vedic knowledge disappears. Vedas cannot be killed, or the knowledge cannot be removed by any demon. Vedas, they come from the Supreme Lord. They're non-different from the Supreme Lord. They just manifest and sometimes unmanifest. That's how. So that is why I believe that was a Takshila University where there was huge source of Vedic literature. The books were there, and it was burned down by some Muslim ruler. I don't know who burnt it down, and it kept on burning. The library was so huge that it kept on burning for 3 months. And many times people say that all the Vedic knowledge was burnt down and it is lost. It's not lost. Vedas cannot be lost. They're just lost in the form of the books, but the knowledge cannot be lost. And when the people are ready, when the population is ready, Krishna will make sure that we will get that knowledge. Just like Krishna made sure that Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and all this wonderful literature, they are brought back again to the public distribution through Srila Prabhupada and his institution, ISKCON. So the Lord made sure now it is available all over the world. We don't have to write down or copy it on the palm leaves, just like 500 years ago. People, there were no printing machines, so they had to copy everything. And to write down a copy of Srimad Bhagavatam, it would take a year and a half or so. It was so difficult, and that too, there were always a chance of making some mistakes when we are writing down. There could be some little mistake in the matra or here or there, and then the whole meaning would change. But now with the advent of printing machines and so many things, and now devotees are also engaged in digitizing the scriptures. I know a couple of devotees, one devotee, he spent 3 years digitizing all the scriptures that he found in South India. And similarly, there are devotees who are digitizing all the writings of Shad Goswami or the later on, all the Goswami literature, they're digitizing everything. So to make sure that we don't lose it again. And this is happening because the devotees are there. The Lord always responds to the devotees' needs. And when the people are ready, the knowledge will reappear. It's not difficult. Just like when Bhaktivinoda Thakur, when he was looking for Chaitanya Charitamrita, now Bhaktivinoda Thakur wasn't too long ago. Srila Prabhupada appeared in 1896, and so Bhaktivinoda Thakur, around, I don't exactly remember the year when he was looking for a copy of Chaitanya Charitamrita. It cannot be too long before that. And he had hard time finding a copy of Chaitanya Charitamrita. It took him 2 years to get a copy of Chaitanya Charitamrita, the authorized version, because it was hidden. Some part in some Brahman's place and some part in somewhere else. But now we can get Chaitanya, we can order, just click on the computer and we can order Chaitanya Charitamrita. A wonderful purport by Srila Prabhupada. Explanations, nice pictures, everything is there. So when the people are ready, the Lord can provide everything. Everything. What's so difficult for Krishna to do? Nothing. When devotees kept on fighting and went through so much of tribulations, so many sadhus got killed to build this Ram temple. And now, when the devotees were ready, Lord Ram made all the arrangements. And now people are pouring in to give donations and do some car seva, and the work is going on wonderfully. And very short time, I think in 2 years, they're going to build the whole temple. It's a huge complex they're building. And they're going to build the whole temple. It just, people have to be ready. The devotees have to be there. The Lord is ready to do everything for the devotees. Not the other way around. Not that the Lord will do and then we'll think of, we'll become devotees. No, it doesn't work like that. So when the people were too absorbed in ignorance, the Vedic knowledge disappears. So when we become ready, the Vedic knowledge will reappear. Not a big deal. So So the Lord fulfilled the desire of Brahmaji because he's a trustworthy representative of the Supreme Lord. And then when he asked again for the treasure of Vedic knowledge, the Lord fulfilled his desire. Text 7. Shukdev Goswami continued, My dear Lord, Lord Nrsimhadev resides in a tract of land known as Harivarsha. In the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, I shall describe to you how Prahlad Maharaj caused the Lord. I'm just trying to see in the word-to-word meaning. Because in the translation, Prabhupada wrote in the 7th canto, because I don't think in Bhagavatam it was going like first canto, second canto. This was all categorized by, I guess, Vyasadeva. And also the chapters, different chapters in the cantos. When Shukdev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, they were discussing, they were not saying, okay, there ends a second canto and starts a third canto. But okay, Prabhupada wrote down in the translation, it's not in the word-to-word meaning. He says, okay, in the 7th canto, that's for us to understand that it's yet to come. In the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, I shall describe to you how Prahlad Maharaj caused the Lord to assume the form of Nrsimhadev. Prahlad Maharaj, the topmost devotee of the Lord, is a reservoir of all the good qualities of great personalities. His character and activities have delivered all the fallen members of his demoniac family. Lord Nrsimhadev is very clear to this, very dear to this exalted personality. Thus Prahlad Maharaj, along with his servants and all the denizens of Harivarsha, worships Lord Nrsimhadev by chanting the following mantra. So Lord Nrsimhadev resides in Harivarsha. Jayadev Goswami's 10 prayers worshipping the incarnations of Lord Krishna, Keshav, contain his name in every stanza. For example, Keshav Dhrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare. Keshav Dhrita Meena Sharira Jai Jagadisha Hare. The word Jagad Isha refers to the proprietor of all the universes. His original form is a two-handed form of Lord Krishna, standing with the flute in his hands and engaged in tending the cows. As stated in Brahma Samhita, I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor who is tending the cows, yielding all desires in abodes built with spiritual gems and surrounded by millions of purpose trees. He is always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune. From this verse, we learn that Govinda or Krishna is the Adi Purusha, the original person. The Lord has innumerable incarnations, exactly like the innumerable waves of a flowing river. But the original form is Krishna or Kesha. So that Brahmanji also said, Govinda Madi Purusham Tamah Prajami. And in Jayadev Goswami's prayers also, he says, Keshav Dhrita Narahari Rupa. So Keshav has taken the form of a Narahari. So Narhari. So Hari is also considered lion sometimes. So Nar, half man, half lion form, Jaya Jagadisha Hare. And sometimes he takes the form of a fish. Keshav Dhrita Meena Sharira. So Meen means the fish. So Keshav is original. And Dhrita means he assumes that form, and then he performs his pastimes. Shukdev Goswami refers to Nrsimhadev because of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj was put into great distress by his powerful father, the demon Hiranyakashipu. Apparently helpless before him, Prahlad Maharaj called on to the Lord, who immediately assumed the gigantic form of Nrsimhadev, half lion and half man, to kill the gigantic demon. Although Krishna is the original person, one without a second, he assumes different forms just to satisfy his devotees or to execute a specific purpose. Therefore, Jayadev Goswami always repeats the name of Keshav, the original personality of Godhead in his prayers, describing the Lord's different incarnations for different purposes. But then again, why the name Keshav only? How come Krishna is the only one whose name could be Keshav? So Keshav has many different meanings. One meaning is Keshav is the one who kills the Keshi demon. So if you go to Vrindavan at the Keshi Ghat, so now the Ghat is also known Keshi Ghat because that is where Krishna killed the Keshi demon. And that's where there's a deity of Krishna with his fist inside the mouth of this horse demon, Keshi, and killing him. This is how he killed him. But Keshav also has other meanings. Keshav means the Lord who has beautiful curly hair. But that also could be meaning of anybody, any Supreme Lord. I mean, Ram can also have beautiful curly hair. But then Keshav has a very, very intimate meaning that can only be applicable to Krishna. And that meaning is Krishna, or the person who tends to or who braids the beautiful hair of Srimati Radharani. And he tends to her hair in a very caring, very beautiful way. So that can only be Krishna. So that's why Devadev Goswami, he repeats the name of Keshav. So Prahlad Maharaj, he prays to Lord Narasimha in the following way. Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya Namaste Jas Tejase Avira Bhav Vajra Nakha Vajra Dashta Karma Shayan Randhya Randhya Tamo Grasagras Om Swaha Abhayam Abhayam Atmani Bhuyishtam Om Shroma. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Narasimha, the source of all power. O my Lord, who possesses nails and teeth just like thunderbolts, kindly vanquish our demon-like desires for fruitive activity in this material world. Please appear in our hearts and drive away our ignorance, so that by your mercy we may become fearless in the struggle for existence in this material world. So see how Prahlad Maharaj is praying to Lord Narasimha. And many times people like to chant this, what's this mantra to Lord Shiva, where they pray for protection from death. I'm forgetting the name, particular name, Mahamrityunjay Jap. Now, if Prahlad Maharaj, he can pray to Lord Narasimha, Narasimha protects him from death. So this is for Vaishnavas, this is a better prayer than Mahamrityunjay Jap. Because Lord Shiva, as we saw earlier, yes, he is in charge of destruction, but he does the destruction by getting the energy and by the mercy of Lord Sankarshan. So if we pray directly to Lord Narasimha, then that's the best Mrityunjay Jap. Purport. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Sanat Kumar speaks of following words to Maharaj Prithu. Yadapada Pankaja Palasha Vilasa Bhaktya. Devotees always engage in the service of the toes of the Lord's lotus feet can very easily become free from hard-knotted desires of fruitive activities. Because this is very difficult, the non-devotees, the jnanis and yogis, cannot stop the waves of sense gratification, although they try to do so. Therefore, you are advised to engage in the devotional service of Krishna, the son of Vasudeva. So devotees always try to take shelter of the Lord's lotus feet to take away, to remove the desires for fruitive activities. Every living being within this material world has a strong desire to enjoy matter to his fullest satisfaction. For this purpose, the conditioned soul must accept one body after another, and thus his strongly fixed fruitive desires continue. One cannot stop the repetition of birth and death without being completely desireless. So one should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desire for material profit or gain through fruitive activities of philosophical speculation. That is called pure devotional service. Unless one is completely freed of all material desires, which are caused by the dense darkness of ignorance, one cannot fully engage in the devotion service of the Lord. Therefore, we should always offer our prayers to Lord Nrsimhadev, who killed Hiranyakashipu, the personification of material desires. So that's what Hiranyakashipu represented. Hiranya means gold and Kashipu means a soft cushion or bed. Materialistic persons always desire to make the body comfortable, and for this they require huge amounts of gold. Thus, Hiranyakashipu was a perfect representative of materialistic life. He was therefore the cause of great disturbance to the topmost devotee, Prahlad Maharaj, until Lord Nrsimhadev killed him. Any devotee aspiring to be free of material desires should offer his respectful prayers to Nrsimhadev, as Prahlad Maharaj did in this verse. So not only he will protect us from untimely death or death from the hands of some demons, he can easily kill all the material desires in our hearts, so that we can just make smooth progress on a spiritual path. So that is why Lord Nrsimhadev's presence in our temples, in our prayers, every day we pray to Lord Nrsimhadev for protection, is very, very important. Many times devotees say, oh, we are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We don't need to pray to Lord Nrsimhadev. No, we need his mercy. We need his protection all the time so that we can progress on the path of bhakti smoothly. And Nrsimhadev is very, very favorable to the devotees. Very favorable. We just have to take his shelter properly, in the same mood as Prahlad Maharaj did. So anyway, we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, the line is very beautiful. Sing Devi. Keshavadrita Narharirupa Jai Jagadish.
Yeah.
Beautiful, Prabhuji. मैं रोज इसको प्रेयर करती हूँ. But this अभी मेरे को जो ये पता चला है 2 लाइन और है. That Keshavadrita mean Sharira is also there and Vaman Rupa is also there. So
Oh, it's a full. No. It's not. These are just one single lines, Prabhupada quoted. It's a full prayer. It's a Dashavatar, 10 avatars.
Acha.
I can post it on the group for you.
Please, Prabhuji. Thank you. Very sweet.
Yeah.
Very sweet. स्पेशली जय जगदीश हरे जब आता है ना, तो वो जो एक आरती हम लोग गाते हैं ना, ओम जय जगदीश हरे वाली, उससे बहुत ज्यादा इसका उससे रिलेशन लगता है इसका. तो ये थोड़ा डिफरेंट है बट अच्छा है. वेरी नाइस.
This is written by Jaydev Goswami. That is written by some What's his name? Shiva some Swami, no?
मेरे को
Something Shiv. I don't remember the exact something Shiv.
This is sweet. And another thing, प्रभु जी, जो भी हम लोग अभी डिस्कस कर रहे थे माया की, माया माया इज राइट देन एंड देयर, तो ये भी मुझे एक बहुत फील होता है कि द डे, मतलब जैसे 2-3 दिन कंटिन्यूअसली सुबह उठ करके चैंटिंग हो जाए ना, तो एकदम से 5th डे पे समझ लो कि अब बिल्कुल नहीं होने वाला। वो अपने अंदर ही ना एक बड़ी अच्छी सी फीलिंग आ रही थी कि यस आई एम डूइंग इट रेगुलरली, बस समझ लो कि अगले दिन खत्म है कहानी। तो मेरे को उसी समय पता चलता है, मैं क्या थोड़ा सा भी घमंड किया ना अपने ऊपर, तो माया ने एकदम से पकड़ लिया, अच्छा ऐसा कैसे हो गया। तो ये बिल्कुल एकदम से मतलब तुरंत पता चल जाता है प्रभु जी, तुरंत कुछ, और अपने अंदर ही फीलिंग आ जाती है कि अब बस तूने गड़बड़ कर दी है, अब नहीं होगा।
ये स्ट्रगल तो चलती रहेगी, ये स्ट्रगल नहीं खत्म होती।
और एक दिन सपोज पोस्ट भी कर दो ना अपना, जैसे सपोज जिस दिन 32 राउंड्स हो गए या 64 हो गए, उस दिन बड़ा होता है कि चलो जी पोस्ट कर देते हैं 64 राउंड्स हो गए, नेक्स्ट डे तो समझ लो एक भी नहीं होने वाला। मुझे बाकियों को नहीं, मेरे साथ तो बस समझ लो अगले 2-3 दिन अब छुट्टी बिल्कुल गायब।
कोटा हो गया।
हाँ बस सच में वो माया एकदम से मुझे पकड़ लेती है, बस अब तूने कर लिया और छोड़ दिया, हो गया बस, बहुत है।
यही प्रैक्टिस तो करते रहना।
हाँ, थैंक यू प्रभु जी, नाइस क्लास।
थैंक यू माता, थैंक यू।
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. The place which you were mentioning that Vedas were burnt is Nalanda.
Okay,
Nalanda
okay.
University.
Thank you, Manta. Thank you, Manta. Chalo, we can stop here. You all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so much.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Jai Srila Prabhupada.